What's going on, guys? It's Sean you with S&S Serpentarium, and today we're going to talk about respiratory infections. So, the cause of respiratory infections then. Respiratories can be caused in a number of ways. They can be caused actually by your snake catching it from another snake. So if you're buying a new snake, make sure you quarantine it, because if it has a respiratory infection, your other snakes that are healthy can actually catch it from the unwell snake. So that's something to watch out for, really. And then it can actually spread through your hool collection like wildfire. It can absolutely decimate collections, so make sure you quarantine your snakes, basically. They can also be caused through bacteria, so unsanitary sort of conditions in your snake's vivarium or whatever setup you're actually using. If you don't clean it out, disinfect it properly, over time the bacteria will actually build up in there, and it can cause a number of problems, but respiratory infection is actually one of them. It can actually be caused as well, guys, through sort of improper heating. So if your hotspot is too cold, that doesn't normally cause it, but if the hool tank or the cool end is too cold, that will actually cause it. If your hotspot is, say, it should be at least 88, but say if it was 85, what would normally happen is either your snake would just stay on the hotspot all the time, or it'd stop eating. That wouldn't normally cause it to catch a respiratory infection. What would normally cause it to catch a respiratory infection is if it was drafty. So like if the cool end, like if you've got a vivarium, say you've got a 4x2 vivarium and you're heating it with a heat mat, right, the cool end isn't going to be where it should be, at around no cooler than 75 degrees. It'll actually drop quite a bit cooler than that, especially in the night. And what that'll mean then is your snake will be permanently stuck at the hot end, at where the heat mat actually is, and it'll get drafty in there. So because of that massive difference in between the ambient temperature and the actual hot spot, that'll cause your snake to sort of show the effects of like what a cold is for humans. So it'll start bubbling around the mouth, it'll look all white and stuff in there. It just won't look very good at all. You'll see that it's got problems breathing. You'll be sort of well, you can hear it. It's like wheezing. It's like as if it's got something stuck in its mouth. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, so that's just something to bear in mind, really, when you're setting up your tanks. The ambient temperature and the cool end temperature does matter a lot. I actually keep my snakes in my garage, so I use I use two actually oil radiators, along with obviously my heat mats, and I've insulated it all. But it's expensive keeping it like this, but it's easier for me, really. It's better. It's a nice quiet place for the snakes as well, so like they don't hear people stomping around the house. But if you were to just chuck them up here with no oil radiator or anything, you'd have dead snakes in a matter of weeks, really, or perhaps even days. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. Then your ambient temperature, that does matter, not just your hotspot temperature. Yeah, so the causes of RI, that's pretty much all of them. Two other causes is disease, so like IBD, that can cause your snake to show symptoms of RI, or the nindovirus, that can also cause symptoms of RI. And those two, they're kind of nasty ones because there's no cure. If your snake gets any of those, it is a matter of when it's gonna pass away. Medical professions in the vet industry have tried a lot of different things, and so far there's no cure for either of those. Boas can survive for a long time with IDB. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'll put the link in the description, because I think I might have got the letters the wrong way around there. But anyway, Boas can survive for quite a long time without showing any symptoms at all, but royals or ball pythons, any sort of python, typically succumb to it within a matter of weeks or months. They can live a little bit longer, but you know, ultimately it is a death sentence for them. Yeah, so those are the causes of respiratory infection then. And as I've said, the things you want to look out for is I'll just show you this snake's mouth now. If you can see there's no bubbling at all around the mouth. Okay, absolutely no bubbling. There's no wheezing. She does sigh a little bit, but that isn't a respiratory infection. I'll actually show you inside her mouth towards the end of this video, so you know what a healthy snake's mouth looks like. Should be all nice and clear, no sort of saliva loose in it unless it's just eaten or drunk. So there should be nothing really, you know, to worry about. And also as well, guys, if your snake has got a respiratory infection, it can actually cause scale rot inside of your snake's mouth. So that could, if you notice, you know, the scales and you know, the mouth doesn't look too good, and the scales on the front of the face don't look too good, that could be a sign that it's got a respiratory infection. There are home remedies to respiratory infections, but honestly I would recommend that you get your snake to the vet as soon as you can if your snake does have a respiratory infection. These home remedies really, they can work, but it's only really for people that can't get their snake to the vet, or you know, if there's a couple of days waiting list to get your snake to the vet, then maybe that's an option for you while you wait to get your snake into the vet. But I wouldn't recommend just using these home remedies. They do work, as I say, but I would say use it in addition to the antibiotics and treatments that the vet gives you. So some of the symptoms then, you can see your snake stargazing a lot, so they're like looking up and they've got their mouth open all the time. It's just because they're trying to get better airflow in. They're not as active. They'll go off their food. When you pick them up, they'll sort of go limp. They're not like limp like this snake, right? Because this snake could easily climb up my arm, easily, like not a problem. She's nice and strong. But when a snake's got a respiratory infection, they lose quite a lot of their strength because they don't have as much oxygen getting into their system. So that's another sign then the snake could actually have a respiratory infection. The best way to avoid it really would to just be keep your husbandry on point and don't bring any additional snakes into your collection without quarantine. As long as you'll do that, you'll be golden. And just check your setup, nothing's broken or anything. Check that as regularly as you can. I personally check all my tanks and everything at least twice a day, sometimes more. And I do, you know, sometimes things do happen. I had a heat match fail a few weeks ago, so you know it is worth, you know, keeping a good eye on everything. Thermostats can fail. A lot of electric stuff can actually fail, so you know you do need to watch out for it all. Right, so I'll just show you inside my snake's mouth, and then we will talk about the home remedies and how to actually you know, sort of help your snake along before you get to the vet. Again, I don't want you doing this instead of going to the vet, but we'll just get showing you the snake's mouth, and then we'll talk about that. Right, so scrap that, guys. I'm not going to be able to do it. I just simply don't have enough hands to hold the snake still and do that and film. This camera here, it won't pick up the snake, so I actually have to hold the camera, and it's far too bulky and big to do that and autofocus and gently open the snake's mouth. It's just not feasible. So what you want to do, if I just get a cotton bud here, clean one, what you want to do is you just want to pop it in its mouth, gently tie it open, okay, and hold the snake, hold its whole body, so you're not just grabbing it by the neck, okay. Just grab it gently behind his head and just tie the mouth open. Don't get the nibs of the cotton bud stuck in his teeth. Just use the center part of the bud just to tie it open so you can have a little look. I've also seen people use sort of credit card type things. Yeah, that could work. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Anything like that, it'll do the job. So just real quick then, how to treat respiratory infections at home. What you want to have is a tub set up, a big tub, and a tub big enough to fit your snake in. You want to drill holes in there all the way around, and then you want to have an even bigger tub then, where you can put that tub inside with no holes at all. And what you want to do, you want to get something like a defibrillator, the sort of like evaporates the water inside. They're called humidifiers. And what you want to do is you want to fill that up with water, and you want to put 10 milliliters of F10 per litre that you put in there. So if it's a 1 litre capacity tank, you want to put 10 milliliters of F10 in there. If it's a 500 milliliter tank, you want to put 5 milliliters of F10 in there, and so on. And then what you want to do is you just put that inside the enclosed tank, and then you just turn it on. It should fill up then with the evaporated water and F10. And then what I'll do is all of that will seep inside of the other tank, and it'll help clear the airways of the snake, and then help kill off any bacteria or viruses inside of the snake system. You can also, with that, then you can also add what's it called now? Like oils, Vic. That's the one, Vic. If you add something like Vic or something like that people use to ease their sinuses when they've got a cold. If you use something like that, it'll help clear the airways out and make it easier for the snake to breathe. Therefore, more F10 will get on the system, and it can help the snake perk up quite a lot. But that is only a temporary measure. And what you also want to do is heat the tank up more than what you would normally. So if you keep it at 92, maybe up to like 94 at the hot spot, and up the ambient and the coolant to 85 or so, it keeps the snake nice and warm. Think of if you've got a cold, you like it to stay inside nice and warm, and you recover quicker. It's a bit like that. And what those sort of techniques will definitely do is it'll help stop the respiratory infection get any worse. And then potentially then once you jump it on the antibiotics from the vet, then you should be golden. But quite often, if the respiratory infection isn't that bad and you've caught it early, it will just help the snake fully recover, and within a couple of days you may decide that actually you don't need to go to a vet. But as soon as you notice it, book a vet's appointment, please. There's no need to let your snake die or suffer just because you didn't want to pay out for a vet appointment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope I've cleared up for all of you what a respiratory infection is, how you can avoid getting it, how you do actually get it, what the symptoms are, and eventually how to help your snake recover. So I hope you've all learned something. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, smash that notifications icon, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.